Hi, I've been asked to film this as I've just recently finished my 12-week programme with Results for Life, or RFL, and just talk to you a little bit about why I started and how I've got on with it. So, to kick off, why I started, basically in a nutshell, I had a really tough year last year. I had to deal with a lot of things that I never would have even imagined that I would have to deal with. Or want anybody else to, for that matter. Without going into too much detail about that, it just basically put me on a very unhappy path. Though I did lots of things with friends and family to try and keep busy and keep motivated and things like that, come the new year when everything had slowed down, it just really hit me like a ton of bricks, really. Early on in the year, I moved into a new house by myself, so it's the first time I'd ever lived on my own, and I hated it. Got into a bit of a routine, sort of going to work, coming home, eating, watching telly, going to bed, and it'd literally be like that every day. Meal times for me could be 2:30 in the morning. It could be eating nearly enough every hour of the day at work on something, just constantly turning to food, I think, mostly out of boredom. I'd never say that I've been slim or petite or anything like that. I've always carried a few extra pounds, you might want to say. But it's never really bothered me to the sense that I've really felt like I've had to get active and do something about it for the sake of happiness. I've wanted to feel better and to look nicer in clothes and things like that. I'd usually describe myself as a bit of an events weight loser, so sort of like 4 weeks before birthday, Christmas, them kind of things, just to lose or drop a few pounds. You name it, I've tried it. So we're talking what? Weight Watchers, Slimming World, calorie counting, seriously cutting down on calories, like 500 a day. That would last all of 2 weeks and then it'd all come back on again. Insanity, fitness DVDs, fitness classes, the gym, going swimming, everything. But it's never really worked, and I think for me, well, I say it's never worked, maybe in the short term, but in the long term it's been, you know, it's always come back on, or I've given up on it and I've just sort of lost motivation. The reason being, I think it's always sort of one or the other. So you take like a diet program where you go to classes about it. It's just the diet, there's no exercise, and I'm one of them people that I sort of need somebody to tell me what to do, because it's all grand, it's sitting down and thinking, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but it's actually doing it. And I think a lot of that comes from up here, and if it's something you really want, you've got to go for it, and only you can do that, but how you choose to do it is the difference. I'd heard about Results for Life through a friend who, you know, oh God, you've got to try it, this, that and the other, and I'm like, I don't know. But I was desperate to sort of make some serious changes. At this point I was weighing 14.5 stone, the most I've ever weighed in my life. I think prior to that my heaviest was always sort of 12.10, and that was, you know, that was the biggest I'd ever been. So to get to 14.5 stone through silly choices, looking back, was really something for me, and I knew I had to do something about it. So I went, and this is back in August, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I felt so nervous on the way up. I met with Josh, and he basically just sort of assessed basic movements and patterns, like could I squat? No. Could I run 200 metres? No. little things like that, and had to talk to me about goals and what I saw, what I wanted to see happen and change. So for me, I sort of said, well, ideally, you know, I don't want to be skinny. I want to be curvy, but I want to be in shape. I want to be fit and sort of weigh about the 10 stone benchmark. And he said to me, how would you feel if you could lose 3 dress sizes in 12 weeks? And I was sort of like, he's a bit confident. He don't know me very well. But obviously, when you're sitting there and you just want answers, that was like the perfect thing for me to hear. Did I believe it? No. But I went for it because I thought, you know, I've got nothing to lose. And just gave it a go. So the following week from that, I started my training, and I'm not going to lie, the first week I absolutely hated. Not because I didn't like the training or what we was doing, just because I felt so unfit. And even though I've got to, hats off to everybody that goes there, because literally they'd never met me before and they were running alongside me, come on, you can do it, and things like that, which it might sound a bit like, but I liked that. It was really supportive, but I still couldn't shake that in me, sort of that feeling that how unfit I'd got. And because my confidence was so low, it was just generally quite hard for me to actually get out of the house and go out and do something on my own. When I've been to gyms in the past, I've always encouraged a friend to come with me and things like that, and it'd be something I'd do with somebody that I already knew. So doing it on my own was like a massive thing for me, regardless of anything else. That, I think, was one of the main things. And like the first 3 days, I literally cried on the way home, because I just said I felt like I can't do it, you know, blah, 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 blah. But after that first week, honestly, it was like overnight. I started to believe in myself already. And for something to happen that quick was amazing, I think. The biggest success for me, looking back, I think, was the 2-week detox, which I did at the very start of the programme. Reason being, I think to change somebody's eating habits in such a small amount of time is something massive to do. Because, I mean, I'm talking going from eating way too much fast food constantly throughout the day, just eating something, which is pretty much what I was doing, to then really reining back on that and completely knocking off anything that wasn't natural. So all processed foods gone, caffeine gone, additional sugar gone, and to do that in, you know, straight off, the first 3 days of that were like, oh, weird. Like no sugar, no caffeine and things like that. I just felt really strange, but it made me think about sort of why did it feel like that, if that makes sense. So towards the second week of that detox, I was like, whoa, you know, I was somebody that was sort of getting up for 6:30, 7 o'clock to go to work, but yet not going to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning because I just couldn't sleep, and that had become a bit of a habit for me over the last sort of year and a half. I was literally sleeping very, 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 very badly, and that changed like straight away in those first 2 weeks. I was in bed by 10 o'clock and I was shattered. My skin improved, just looked and felt better already. Sort of bags under my eyes gone, and just little things like that. So to do that in the first 2 weeks really set me up for what was going to come, because I felt so much better already. Looking back, I think it was 8 pounds I lost in the first 2 weeks, which was more than I'd lost in the last 5 months trying to do it alone. So that straight away put me on a good level to move forward, because I'd already seen small results. throughout the 12 weeks, there's been times where I've got on the scales from one Sunday to another and nothing's moved. But then I've stood and taken my weekly progress shots, and I thought, oh God, like there's a little bit extra room there between my legs and things like that. So that sort of keeps you on track. The most important thing for me, I think, has been the support, because that has been unreal. And whether that's from the coaches or from the other people at RFL, they're literally like a family. And it's ridiculous that you can just go with people that you've never met before and just like them straight away, because they believe in you. And I think that's a really nice thing to have around you. And just little things like when you do send like your weekly progress and you get a message back saying you're awesome and things like that. And it might sound cheesy, and I'm smiling so much when I'm saying about this, because it's nice, because you feel good for yourself because you're doing it, but then it also feels good to have so many people around you that just support you 100%, and they're on that journey with you. Another thing I like about it, like you can go and you can take advice off some people, can't you? And the coaches that train you, so Jack, Josh and Chris, they wouldn't like expect you to do anything that they're not prepared to do. There's been some times when we've been training and they're like training like with us, and it's just really nice to have that sort of atmosphere. I just love it. I'm waffling now, but basically, to cut the long story short, 12 weeks, what's it done for me? Okay, so going from not being able to run 200 metres, which is pretty embarrassing, to running 600 metres with a 20k sandbag on your back, for example, and then going back in and rocking out some... I can't even justify how much my fitness has improved over the last 12 weeks. So I've gone from a size 16 to 18 to size 12, 14. A couple of bits that I'm still wearing, like jeans and things like that, I'm still in a 14. But tops, and I got some size 12 shorts the other day, and I was like, wow, and they're not even elasticated. So that was amazing. And what else has improved? My confidence is massively improved. My happiness, my lifestyle habits. I've just got so much more energy, so much more drive. I feel more ambitious than I did before. Not just with training, just other things. It's really opened my mind about other stuff that I want to achieve. What am I looking forward to now? Loads of things. I'd like to go on holiday at some point, maybe next year, and feel good in a bikini or a swimming costume or whatever. I'd like to try and run 10k again. It's something that I did last year for charity, and I really struggled with it. But it was something that I wanted to do at the time, and it's something I definitely want to do again. But maybe just improve my timing on that. Definitely want to continue training with RFL. I've signed up for the next 6 months to keep going. I'm not finished in where I want to be in terms of goals, but I am, God, over halfway there. So I'm from 14.5 stone, I'm now 11 stone 12, and that's all happened in just 12 weeks, which is mind-blowing for me. So basically I've got another stone and 12 pounds to go before I hit my target weight. I'd like to start competing a little bit in some of the competitions that they do, and just things like that. It's really opened my mind to life a little bit more and what it's all about. And for me, I think coming from where I was and how I was feeling to then be able to feel like this and feel happy and confident to sit and talk about it is a huge thing. So if this helps anybody, then great. If not, I'm sorry for boring you for 14 minutes and 56 seconds. So yeah, cheers.